Do you like to go fast?
Yeah!
Do you like to do damage fast?
Yeah!
Are you afraid of looking like an edgy 12-year-old scout main?
Yeah!
Yeah, there's no right answer to that. Now, looking at all of that, doing damage fast, moving fast, do you want to play Pyro? Of course you don't. You don't want to be that edgy asshole that everyone hates because no one knows what the fuck you're supposed to do and everything you do fucking sucks! Well, with that out of the way, there's only one logical choice left. You want to be fast, and you want to kill fast. So, you must play the Heavy. Now, I know some of you say, well, the Heavy's kind of slow. Well, not really. Not if you use the Gloves of Running Urgently and the Eviction Notice. Or at least that's what everyone thinks. Everyone likes to use these two weapons to boost the Heavy's speed and to help him getting to go a lot faster. And it works. It does. But are they the best thing? I don't think so. You see, when it comes to balancing, whenever you boost something, you have to nerf something else. And with the Eviction Notice and the Gloves of Running Urgently, henceforth called the GRU, these two weapons, in order to increase your speed, they have to take away your biggest strength, your health. See, whenever you're using the GRU, you take mini-crits because you're marked for death. Marked for death. There isn't a better term for that. Your health is reduced to just a little over that of a Pyro's. And, I mean, while it still shows up as 200, the amount of damage you take in comparison to what you would normally take, the amount of damage you take, you have an effective health of a Pyro, thus eliminating that tankiness that you have. And while a lot of people carry the Sandwich to help overcome that, you still have to face the fact that you are significantly destroying your defensive options as a Heavy when using that. Now, the Eviction Notice, it's a bit of a safer version of a GRU. It doesn't have the marked for death, and the damage resistance penalty goes away immediately after sheathing. So, if you're taking too much damage, you can just pop it and switch to something else, which will slow you down, but you'll stop taking a crap ton of damage. That's still good and all, but that depends on if you can switch it fast enough to not die, and whether or not you'll still die from the damage that you've taken anyway. So, of course, if I'm saying that these aren't a good option, I have to have a solution, right? And I do. At least a compromise in a way. You see, there's this thing in Source that you can do. It's done in a lot of Source games, and while it's been patched a little bit, it still works. B-hopping. Now, I'm pretty sure you've seen a lot of different things on movement tricks you can do in Source glitches, and I'm pretty sure somewhere along the lines you've heard of B-hopping. And I'm sure you've noticed a lot of higher tier players just bouncing around, and there's a reason for that. See, in the Source engine, if you time your jumps just right to basically as soon as you hit the ground after a jump or a rocket jump or whatever, it registers you as still in the air, and you can keep the momentum that you have. Now, using this effectively, while it takes a lot of timing, you can use it very well to just keep your speed and get a lot of speed going. And I'll put it up on the screen. I made this little 4-way video basically showing all the different things, just running with the stock speed, B-hopping, the Eviction Notice, and the GRU. And admittedly, the Eviction Notice and the GRU are much faster than B-hopping, but B-hopping isn't it is still faster than stock, so it gives you more maneuverability options and isn't that much far off from the eviction notice. So it's still a good option, and the best part about it is it's just a movement trick. It doesn't take a loadout slot, it doesn't affect your stats. All it is a movement trick. It's just skill. It's not a stat, it's not a weapon that you're using, and so you can leave your items open for something better. And for me, that something better is the Fists of Steel, because that makes your heavy even more defensive. And the Fists of Steel themselves provide, at least on a psychological level, a movement boost. And that is not because it makes you faster, but because at range, it makes it very much harder to damage you. Since you take only 40% in ranged damage, you can basically just shrug off anything that hits you and just keep chugging along. Combine that with bee-hopping, and now you have faster movement, damage is pretty much negated, and on top of that, the bee-hopping, the constant hopping around and everything, produces an erratic movement, also combined with air scraping, which is more speed, as well as a more unpredictable movement pattern, which makes it much harder for people to get a bead on you and hit you. They're not going to be able to get solid hits if done right. So what you have is a much more effective system of moving, a heavy that may not be quite as fast as a GRU or Eviction Notice heavy, but one who is still faster than the usual heavy, in addition to being able to take more damage and being able to be harder to hit in general. This produces something that is very interesting, using these heavy's strength, his tanking, as actually a mobility option, using his strength to cover his weakness rather than pulling from his strength to cover his weakness as you would with the GRU or the Eviction Notice. And that personally is why I prefer to use the Fists of Steel. Now, that is not to say that the GRU and Eviction Notice are bad weapons or not useful. They are. However, I believe that they also become a bit of a crutch in a way where you rely on their speed rather than learning how to properly handle a character in order to improve on that. However, bee-hopping on top of using the GRU and the Eviction Notice can also help to drastically increase your speed, even more so than you could just with the weapons, creating an even more mobile heavy, which can be very, very good if you know how to handle it right. A fast heavy is essential to holding the front line, keeping ground, and pushing ground. And so a bee-hopping GRU or Eviction Notice heavy can be exceptionally useful. But that said, it is still not playing the defensive natures of the heavy to its fullest, which is why I personally do not use it, because I play a more defensive heavy. I believe that, well, as the old saying goes, the best offense is a good defense. Because if you will outlast your enemy, well, then you're going to win. However, that's my personal philosophy, and each person is entitled to their own playstyle. I am merely here to explain my point of view and give you some facts and statistics to maybe help you think a little bit more about the way you play. But ultimately, playstyle is your choice. If you want to be super defensive and work on using your strengths to cover your weaknesses and really kind of try to develop a more out-of-the-box playstyle like I do, that's your prerogative. If you want to use items and you want to really kind of boost the way you play and kind of do that balance of taking from one thing to help another, that's also your prerogative. That's the great thing about TF2, is that you own your own game, you own your own character, you own your own class. Everything about it is yours. And that's why I love the game. And so I hope this was informative, but I don't want to force you to play a certain way or tell you that one way is wrong. I just want to explain what I do and why I think it's the best. Anyway, I'm going to be doing more little like guide videos kind of like this. I'll be going more into depth about all the weapons and everything sometime soon. And I really hope you enjoyed this. If you really enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share, and please, if you would, support my Patreon. Also, if you have any ideas, suggestions, comments, anything of the like, please feel free to tell me. I would like to know what kind of content you wanted to see from me, or if you have an idea for a video, feel free to tell me. I would love to try to do that. In addition to that, I also have a Steam group and a Discord server where you can reach me on. I also have Facebook and Twitter, but I don't use them quite as much. I've never been really into social media. But still, there's a bunch of places you can reach me, so feel free to go ahead and reach out to me. I will get back with you all. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in the next video, and until then, have fun.